And ladies and gentlemen, this is our final episode of the beautiful Miss New Jersey Pageantry International 2021. Wow, that's a tongue twister. I have the greatest job in the world. I'm sitting here with two beautiful blonde women. Beautiful. And my wife is home and knows nothing about it.
And she's a brunette.
Because
I did some research on her.
Changing it up a little bit, right? Just change it up. Anyway, this is a great episode because we have Mary, and everybody knows the Happy Little Beast. Mary, she's here. Melee, did I pronounce it right?
Never.
Gosh,
You've gotten it wrong for like 3 months.
Melee?
What do we do on Cinco de Mayo? What do we drink?
We drink beer?
Tequila?
So
Mila tequila.
Mila,
that's a good way.
We got to do it. You did tell me that. And
I did.
We'll have to edit that one out. And of course, I say Bosley, Kimberly Bosley, Kim Bosley Meehan. What do you go by?
Kim Bosley Meehan.
Oh, Meehan. Oh,
Meehan, like
wow.
me and you.
Like me and you. Oh, wow. And you don't do that on Tequila Day, on Cinco de Mayo. We're gonna
Tequila, me, and
Jim,
you.
that has nothing to do with me and you on
Right.
Cinco de Mayo. She's with you that night, May 5th. Wow. That's a tough one.
That was good, Kim.
So, yeah, that was good. So this is like a wrap-up to literally 4 or 5 months. No, about 4 months.
Yeah.
4 full months of snowstorms, bad weather, but we had people from all
COVID.
over. COVID. Oh, yeah, COVID, that's true. We did have people from like all over Jersey, even coming in from Pennsylvania to do these podcasts, which has been great. So I just out of curiosity, I know that there's only one girl in the audience that was here. That was probably the best podcast, right?
You know what?
Which
I
one?
am the best podcast ever.
That-
Miss New Jersey International
Yes.
2020. Jacqueline D. Pasquale.
Jacqueline D. Pasquale.
Best podcast ever.
Exactly, the best podcast ever. But so the fact that she's in the room has nothing to do with her being the best host.
Because whoever was in the room, you would say the same thing.
That's not true until after the show. That's why this was the best podcast ever. So actually, why don't we talk a little bit about the 10th? Now, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be there, I guess, alone. My wife doesn't want to come because she doesn't like me around a lot of women, which is no problem. I have no problem with that.
Some people don't. Some women don't. They prefer
So
to be
I
around
guess,
men.
so the 10th is when all of these women get together, right? And I see it's sold out. Is that right? So we can't even tell people to buy tickets.
We can't because by the time this airs, it'll be over,
That's
right?
true, but are you offering live streaming?
We are. Well, we might go live on Instagram and Facebook. We're working
We
through
would
that.
love to, but we didn't.
Yeah,
For
this year
it
we've
didn't
got.
happen. But next year we have to.
But
Figure
it's
out
just
how
putting
to
up
make
a
that work.
phone.
Yeah, we'll
I know,
probably
we'll-
do that
We'll probably do that.
because
yeah.
Kim and I will be front row,
Gotcha.
watching our production.
Gotcha. That
So-
totally makes sense. And a little bit about why we call her Bosley, and I just learned her name 15 minutes ago, was simply because she was never here but always talked about.
Right.
And every time she was supposed to be here, she was still never here. Maybe in spirit. And then when she was supposed to be here, she got COVID. So it was like this whole thing. One after the other. So I would say it's Bosley, almost like you're the Canadian girlfriend that
I
never
know.
really exists.
I know, right?
That's the way I looked at it. So now I finally get to meet her. Now, of course, that the whole thing is over, and she won't be in the audience until the next round, which will it'll be always great to see you, by the way,
Thank
for
you.
the first time.
It's nice to meet you finally
That-
in person. Yeah.
I get those little Instagram, texts and messages. Oh, thank you so much. I'm like, that's great. I wish I could see you, and now I
Yeah.
can.
Now you can put the face
Yes.
with the name.
Exactly. And the happy little beast. Everybody sees the pose. By the way, if you know this,
That's my
day one.
5
That's
a.m.
it.
gym pose.
That's it. Every day.
You didn't get one today.
You know what? I don't think I got one today.
Well, we're going to post tonight. This is going to be my
Oh.
guess why we're going to post today. Today is International Pageant Day.
Is it really?
It is International Pageant Day. So this is the absolute best day for us to be here.
Oh, that's a great.
Because we've got
day.
people watching
That's
and they know
excellent.
and they're posting all day some of their favorite pageant memories.
That's great. So the one thing I loved about your platform, forget about the girls were beautiful and they were just me and them the whole time. Yeah, that was probably the best part. But no, the best part was the platforms because I really connected with all of their platforms, one way or another. And if I really didn't connect as passionate as it seemed, I wanted to figure out a way that I can be part of it. So that was more, I think this was more something for me than it was for the girls because I got so much out of it, you know? Especially the sax. Now, you're big on the sax, right? We could talk about, let's talk about the sax for a second.
Okay.
So, I was, who was the one, it was, who was the woman that came in for sax? It was Sarah Campbell.
Sarah
Dropped them off.
Sarah dropped. Sarah came in and had her podcast, but she had just done a collection of a dozen.
That's right. So as I'm researching Sarah Campbell with the body, you know, remember the scar?
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I got to do something. So you never ever, and we talked about this. You never send a man out to go buy women's crap. You never do that.
You did a great job, though. I saw
Did you
your
see
set.
how that
was beautiful.
That was like a
It
100-pound knapsack
Yeah.
that had books in there, and it had. I didn't get a little like travel size shampoo. I got like these giant shampoos. And
You did amazing. Can I tell you were only the second man to
Really?
ever donate it
Wow.
a support sack. But at least I had 2 men that donated. I feel very,
Wow, that's
grateful
amazing.
and thankful. But you were the second man to ever donate.
it
a
was
sack.
like going on a
And
scavenger
the men did a
hunt.
fabulous job. You did.
Wow.
You know what your wife likes, I'm sure. So
She would
and your
beg
daughter.
to differ. Yeah.
So,
She would
you
beg
knew
to differ.
what to
Yeah.
what to buy.
That's true. And going into a store and asking for women's things like eyelashes.
Yeah.
Kind of look, you know, I know with the whole gender stuff thing going on, people might have thought something,
Yeah.
and I know that this person where I was going thought something. You know, I'm just like that feminine-looking metrosexual. Oh, he wants eyebrows, probably eyelashes too, and that's what I did. So I got my whole thing; it was filled up, and I hope some woman.
Some woman in
fabulous.
recovery
Yes.
has the most beautiful made-up face with you got pink nail polish.
I did.
He got-
And I got the red matte lipstick because I love women. If anybody are out there interested, I love women with red matte lipstick.
A lot of men do.
I'm just joking, Lori. I'm just joking. So,
Yeah, a lot of men do. My husband doesn't, though.
Really?
Thank goodness. He doesn't like red fingernails or red lips.
wow.
And I don't wear it, so I'm happy about that.
Wow. So let's talk about sex, right? So I know that substance abuse was pretty big with you. Were you that's something that you really felt passionate about,
Yes.
and sex is part of that. Why did you pick substance abuse to be a platform? Because you are, what were you, like Miss New Jersey 2000?
Mrs. New Jersey 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time ago, right?
Wow. And was that the same
Yeah.
platform that you ran?
No.
Okay.
So when I was Mrs. New Jersey, oral health was my platform.
You're a
because I'm
hygienist, by the
dental
way.
hygienist,
I
yes.
knew that. I know.
So I
in Philadelphia?
Philadelphia,
I
Center
know.
City, yep.
He
Yep.
knows.
I partnered that year with a program that was called Philadelphia Safe and Sound, which is no longer in existence, but it was a program that supported underserved children, inner city children.
Uh-huh.
They would have a place to go after school, to community centers. And I partnered with them that year that I was Mrs. New Jersey, and I presented to over 100 classrooms about children's oral health, teaching them how to brush, healthy snacks. I gave them all toothbrushes.
My kids weren't at that one. My kids never brushed their teeth. They weren't at that seminar.
So that's what I did with my title when I was Mrs. New Jersey. Support sex became a thing over the last couple of years. Because, and I get your watch now, my voice is going to get a little shaky when
No,
I get
that's okay.
nervous or I get emotionally
That's why I'm
connected
here,
to discussion. I get my voice gets a little shaky. So, my sister died of a heroin overdose.
Oh my God.
Yeah, about 10 years ago now. And
How old was she?
She was, she was. So it was 11 years ago, because she was 29 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So she left behind a 4-month-old boy, my nephew Jordan. So when she died, he was 4 months. She had been struggling for many years with addiction. So it started out with pills.
Can I ask you, was the baby affected by that?
He was.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's doing great now though. He's 10 and he's doing wonderful. He has some setbacks, but considering that things could have been much worse than they were, he's really doing good.
Is
so
the dad in the picture?
the dad is not really in the picture. His family is, which is wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
He's being raised by his dad's parents, and his dad's sisters are helping as well. So he's being raised by his dad's family, but the dad is kind of not in the picture much.
Right,
So, but he has a lot of people that love him, that are around
That's
him.
so
You know,
important.
I see him. My
By the
mom
way,
was a
does he
big
live
part
around
of
here?
his
We'll
life.
give him some music lessons.
He lives in Delaware County.
Then he
and-
can move.
Yeah, I would love that for him.
We could
10-year-old
do-
can
we could-
move.
Yeah, we could do a virtual lesson stuff with him.
I think that would be amazing for Jordan, because he's, of course they're putting the label on him that he has, attention deficit and all
Every
this other
kid,
stuff.
they say that about every kid.
He's a 10-year-old
Yeah,
boy. Yeah,
I
he
know.
can't sit still in class. I mean, so I think that would be great for him, actually. I should try to get him up here. He
That
would
would
love
be
that.
great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I hate to go back to your sister, but as far as the heroin overdose, was she ever in rehab? Did she ever get help?
She was in and out of outpatient rehab. Unfortunately, she had an enabler, my mom.
They all
yeah.
do.
Yeah. And didn't really think it was as big of an issue. Or maybe she just did, and I still don't know to this day if she knew and just was in denial or whatever. But, we tried to get her help. She was in and out of outpatient rehabs over the years, but never stayed. Once she was over the age of 18, she would just leave. She would stay a few days and then leave. So I think what happened was she tried to stay somewhat clean when she was pregnant. And she couldn't, obviously, because Jordan was born addicted to
Oh my God.
heroin and I think crack cocaine. So she tried to stay somewhat clean, but
That wasn't enough to get her to stop.
no, I thought it would be too. I really did, but it wasn't. So I think what happened was after she had Jordan, she met someone in outpatient rehab and started hanging out at his place, and that's where she wound up overdosing. So I think she probably did a little more than what her body could handle because she wasn't doing as much when she was pregnant.
Yeah, because when you go into rehab, you're like, and then you think you can do what you did before, it doesn't work that way.
So we lost her, and that was devastating, of course.
Did you go after the person she was with? I would have lost my.
You know what's funny? He showed up to her funeral when we didn't know. I knew in my heart of hearts what killed her, but when she first passed, my mom said that she thought she had a seizure or something, and I knew in my heart of hearts what it was. I knew what it was, but it wasn't for months until the toxicology report came back. So he came to her funeral and everything and pretended like it wasn't a drug overdose when he knew it was. They were doing it together in his apartment.
Oh my God.
Because that's where they found her, in his apartment, locked in the bathroom. So
Oh my God.
the fact that someone could show up at someone's funeral and pretend that they didn't know what happened is just beyond me. But there are people out there that I can't explain their
Karma will
behavior.
take care of that guy.
Yes.
It
yeah.
always does.
So, I didn't go after him, of course, because I really didn't have any connection to him or know who he was.
Yeah.
I just met him at her funeral. Was the first time I met him. But we just had to go on, We had to go on and not be angry about it, of course, and try our best for Jordan's sake to just make a difference and do something different. And that's why I decided to do support SACs, because
You created support
I did.
SACs.
Yeah.
What does SACs stand for?
So I got the name support SACs from rucksacks. Do you know what rucksacks?
No.
Rucksacks are those backpacks
Oh,
that
yes,
you
yes,
get in the
yes, yes.
military. And I figured that when women, if they were going to take that big move and go into recovery, I felt like that was their biggest fight they would ever face. And I felt like it was like a military person who was given a rucksack in a war. I figured these support sacks would be like rucksacks. And
That's a brilliant
they would
connection.
be filled
Yeah.
with things to just help a woman feel better, feel loved, feel supported, things they need when they go into these recovery centers, because they have to buy all those things for themselves. People don't realize that. A lot of these recovery centers don't provide them with toiletries and stuff like that, so they have to purchase that stuff on their own. So I figured it would just be a nice little start for them.
And
So-
how many people have you given these to?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I should know the answer to that too. Oh my. I'd say I've probably, since the start of support SACs, given out over 1,000 SACs.
Easily.
Maybe 2,000.
Easily.
So where do you drop them off? Is there a place?
So I have worked out a relationship with a few recovery centers in the state of New Jersey is where I'm trying
Which
to
is the
place
one-
my focus.
Where's the one in Jersey?
So it's the Catholic Charities in Trenton.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the places I've been supporting a lot recently.
Is Recovery of America?
Recovery of America is not one that I'm supporting right now, but
They're great, by the way.
Okay,
If
I would love to.
I would
reach
love
out.
to. I'll even help too.
Okay.
And then there's CNC. I think it's called Circle of I think it's called CNC, something like
It's
that.
not the Catholic Charities,
No,
right?
it's not.
Okay.
Come Full Circle, CFC,
Okay.
I think it's called. They are amazing
Yeah.
people. If there's anything I could do,
Yes,
I'm in
thank
it.
you. Now,
I'm in it.
I just look for names, connections, someone I can reach out to simply with an email and say, hey, this is what I do, and the next time we do a sack
I'll give you
drive,
that,
would
yep.
you love some donations? And they all say yes,
Yeah.
but because they're free.
I'll set that up too.
But yeah,
as
that
well.
would be great. Just a little introduction, just someone's name and email. So right now I'm supporting Center for Family Services in Camden County.
Okay.
There's a place called Living Proof Recovery Center. I'm supporting a women's center in Camden, and the location in Trenton.
So do people submit money and then you just fill the sacks, or do you? Because I've seen girls with sacks, lots of sacks.
So I don't take
Sacks with an A.
I don't take monetary donations because I'm not a nonprofit. I never filed for nonprofit
Okay.
status, just because. Just time, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able
Yeah.
to have the time to give my all to it.
Right.
So it's been what I call a community service project. So I basically put the word out, hey, I'm doing a sack drive, and women basically reach out to their family and friends, and so everyone just donates a sack. I don't ever collect money. I just collect sacks that are already stuffed. I asked for them to be stuffed already because that's the purpose of it, is one woman donating, or one man donating
One of two men.
to help another woman
Right.
in need. So I don't want it to be something I fill, because then it takes the
Right.
meaning out of it.
Just curious, has Jordan ever asked about his mom?
He hasn't yet.
What do you? I mean, what is the plan? And this I know very personal,
Yeah.
but I don't, because I'm sure somebody who watches this might be in a very similar situation. They might just say, you know,
I said he's 10, but mentally, definitely because of he was born addicted. He's more mentally the age of like a 7-year-old or 7 or 8-year-old, developmentally, all that stuff. So he hasn't really asked yet, but I know it's going to come.
Yeah.
And I want to be as completely transparent as I can with him, because both of his parents used, and I want him to know that, you know, he can't.
Yeah.
So, and you know, that he's at risk if he does, you know. So I want to be as transparent as I can with him when the day comes that he asks me, you know, what happened to his mom, and, you know, why she's not here.
but most people say life happens for you, right? And you always try to look back and say, oh, that's why it happened. What do you think the reason is? Why did this happen? What was life's reason to make this all happen? Are your parents happier? Are your parents finding any comfort in Jordan? You know, what do you think it might be that if life happens for you, what kind of answer would you give for that?
So it's funny because I just got them saying this to Mary and Heather earlier. I always try to find the silver lining.
And that's exactly it. What is the silver
I really
lining?
do. I just don't think Michelle, that's my sister's name, I don't think she ever was going to be able to get clean. So I feel this, I know this is, some people may think this is terrible to say, but I think it was a blessing that she was no longer with us and suffering in pain, because I know it was painful for her. I know it was painful for her. It was very painful for our family for many years, for 10 years that she was an addict.
Wow.
And I just think of what Jordan's life would have been like. Yes, I know it's terrible he doesn't have his mom, but it would have been much worse for him if he had a mom that was using.
It would have been the
Right?
reason why he used.
Right. So
Now it's a reason not to use.
So Jordan will be fine, and he's got loving, supportive family that's around him, and I think he's better off. Of course, he would have been better off with his mom, but a clean version of his mom.
That's right. That's right.
But she wasn't. I don't think she was willing and able to be that.
Right.
So people are shocked that I talk about it with them. Like I do. I talk to people about my sister, and I do it for a reason. I do it so people don't feel like they're alone, because they most likely have a family member who's suffering from substance use disorder as well, because it's very common.
It is.
So
it is.
I talk to people about it so they don't feel alone, right? So they feel they have someone else that is going through what they went through. I also talk to people about it because I'm okay. Like, I miss my sister, but what people don't understand is I lost my sister when she was 18.
Yeah.
That's really when I lost her.
I totally get it. That totally
So
makes sense.
even though she didn't overdose until she was 29, I lost her when she was 18. So for 10 years, she was slowly dying.
Yeah.
So it's like she's been dead longer, if that makes
no,
sense.
No, totally makes sense.
That's why I can talk about it, because some people are like, how can you talk about it without
And if
losing
she died
it?
6 months before, then you wouldn't have Jordan.
And then I wouldn't have Jordan, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Jordan.
Yeah.
And, my hopes is just that he grows up to be happy, healthy, clean, sober.
Maybe this story might save somebody in his life one day, which is a
Right.
great way to look at it. Which you won't know. That's when you go
Yeah.
back and say, that's why that happened, which is important. Well, that's a fantastic story.
So.
And I've seen, I think, every one of your ladies, your queens, you call them.
Our queens.
They all supported Saks.
Yeah, they did.
I saw,
They
and
really
I
did.
didn't realize that Sarah was not her platform. And when I saw it, I'm like, I gotta help Sarah, and that's exactly what I did. And then there's so many people that supported Saks. I think also Kristen supported Saks.
Well, even when Karen, Mrs. New Jersey, turned 50, 51, she celebrated by
With her
telling her
birthday,
family, I don't want presents. In lieu of presents, I want you to stuff a sack in honor of sports sacks. She collected 70 sacks. I mean, we were low riding in Kim's BMW with 70 sacks and me in the back seat and the trunk to get them back to Brookline.
Wow,
70
that
just
is
from Karen.
amazing.
That's right, yeah.
So
now I'm thinking that number might be
Yeah,
closer
it's a
to
lot
like
higher
2,000 or
than you think.
3,000.
Yeah, it's definitely gotta be. Totally gotta be. That's great. So, and that was what's great. So everybody had their own platform, but they all supported Saks,
Yes.
which is fantastic.
We did that sack drive for International Women's Day, and it was a way to bring women together with one common cause. So it was nice. It was
And
real nice.
truth be told, when Kim and I decided to take this on together, we thought it would be great to have an official charity for our organization. I've raised money for multiple sclerosis for years. I've raised over $100,000 in New Jersey. I've done my share. It's time to now put the focus where,
Then maybe a 501c would probably be a
that's the next
good
thing.
idea. Yeah, I've done that for my son. My son Mateo, we did it at 9 years old. He was big into homeless people. We took him to, I think I told you this story on one of the podcasts, we took him to a wrestling event. And it was at Madison Square Garden, and I worked for a hedge fund, and they had, at the time in Madison Square Garden, they had their own, like almost backstage rooms. So we had things to eat. We had a waitress come out on the floor of Madison Square Garden and hand us soda and cookies while we're watching the wrestling matches. So we were treated like royalty. And when we got out, there were all these homeless people sleeping around Madison Square Garden. And at 9 years old, he was shocked. He's from Jersey. He doesn't see this anywhere. And we explained it to him, and I said, save up some of your money. We'll buy them some food when it comes to Thanksgiving. And that first Thanksgiving, I think it was 9. And then the next year it was 13 people. We went and found them from churches. And then at the end of before COVID, I think we were feeding over 200 people every Thanksgiving. We would go to a church. We would have all these tables up, and we don't want the kids to say, Mom, could you give us $10 for this charity? We want the kids to come and deliver those. So they were delivering giant turkeys. It was just great with
Amazing.
pictures.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's charity things, especially when the children are young. It's so important.
It is. Yeah.
It is. So you're also a dental hygienist, and you're a dental hygienist coach.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Your hands are full.
I know. That's why I didn't turn Support Saks into an official
Got it.
nonprofit yet. I said I'm building too many businesses this year. It was it was the pageant, it was my consulting business. I said one thing at a time. I need to complete one thing, get it built,
Right.
complete the programs, get the business completely organized, up and running, and then I will focus my energies on registering Support Saks as a nonprofit.
And you could probably get somebody who can, like, I don't know, attorney or something, do it on spec, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That should be probably pretty easy. So now you have this thing that's coming. Well, unfortunately, this is now it's live, but it will be on probably next week, depending on how quick Lucia can get this out, ladies and gentlemen.
Pressure.
Yes, if she can get this out, but it will probably be after the big contest. So. This was a trying time because the 2020 went through COVID, and we have Miss Pasquale, Di Pasquale
Miss
here,
Di
and
Pasquale.
yeah, she. I'm sorry, Jacqueline Di Pasquale. She was doing it through. Megan is on you.
No.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I'm good. So let's wave, and stay tuned because we have something special.
Right.
So yes, as far as the Miss 2020, she was doing it through COVID and It's very difficult, but if you go on Mrs. DePasquale's Instagram, you see her like
She's a
this.
Mrs. now.
A miss.
She got married during
I know every Miss something, Mrs. something, Woman of the Year something. There's so many somethings. So Ms. Jacqueline DePasquale, she was posing in just about every picture. I've seen these pictures with the crown on. I've seen you at beaches. I've seen you fighting fires with crowns on. I've seen it all. Everything.
I do it all.
Right. So that gets back to so 2020 is tough, and mental awareness. I know mental health awareness was a big thing. And I know Miss Megan, if Miss Megan is on watching, I know Miss Megan was very, very into, that was her thing that she was actually supporting, right?
Absolutely.
It was mental health. She was, from what I know about Megan, she dealt with anxiety disorder or something like that, where she would get nervous. I can't imagine a beautiful woman like that ever getting nervous. I don't know why she would be nervous, but I guess it even happens to beautiful people. Megan, I think you're a beautiful people. And so no, I wanted to support that too, because I know some people too, like Randy and Michelle.
Yeah, from Rav.
Right, Randy, he's focused on challenging, or what's the word? Focusing on educating, right, the people about mental health awareness, especially with COVID.
And he talks about his own very openly.
He does.
We were talking about that on the car right here, and Heather, who was with us, said, I had no idea Randy suffers. Absolutely.
Yeah, and Michelle is an advocate of all that stuff. That's the wrong box. It's the wrong box.
Absolutely.
Yep. So with Megan's anxiety disorder and mental health, she's working with, I think it's MHA, Mental Health Awareness. Is that it? That's her platform.
Okay.
And she's been really, doing that for the past year, which has been a great platform. So I'm gonna have Lucia bring something up, because I have to, present this to Miss Megan. She's now handing over the crown, so I figured I'd give a little contribution.
Megan has these presents. We have so many things.
All right.
Is she
So
here?
if Miss Megan is watching,
All right.
and this is a Rev butt, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, on Instagram.
Miss Megan, we're gonna have to ship you a huge box.
Wow.
So this is what we have for Miss Megan. So Rock Out Loud is going to be donating $150 to the Mental Health of America. That's Megan's platform.
Wow.
And if you can put this in your purse, Megan, and go to a bank, that might be a reason why you'd be a little anxious, because they think you're probably going to rob the bank with something like this. Is that a giant check in your purse, or is that a whatever? So yeah, this is for Megan, and I'll write a check.
That's
a
amazing.
small check for that.
Awesome.
So this
You're
is
the
for you
best.
and your platform. So I'm going to give this to you and put this on the side.
Wow.
And that's for her.
That is so nice. Thank you. Megan will love that.
So it's from Rock Out Loud. Yes.
Best podcast ever.
Best podcast.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. So yeah, I've seen her on this platform and speak about it a lot, and she also brought up the fact that 2020 with COVID was a really difficult year. Imagine being stuck in your house, you can't even socialize. I mean, Randy had Michelle, and they had those little animals that run all over. They run rampant.
Chinchillas.
They run rampant.
Loki and Thor.
Yeah. That's enough to drive you crazy. Imagine, so imagine being stuck with COVID. So
Right.
that's a really, really important platform to bring awareness to, because I know people too who are not married, they don't have significant others, they're sitting in Manhattan in
Alone.
a 400 square foot room just doing their work, and they can't go out to see their family because they're long distance. So it's a tough year. So what do you think's going to happen for 2021 this year? I mean, we're already in April and it's still not lockdown. It's a little bit,
Well, the first thing we've noticed right off the bat, last year we went into our first year together directing, and we had low numbers. We didn't expect anything crazy, and we said, we have a 5-year plan. Build it and they will come. 5 years. We have to be patient. We can't look at the hiccups. We can't look at small numbers. We have to just be patient and ride the 5-year wave.
Right.
So, we had a smaller group last year, and then obviously we were about to crown our queens, and then COVID hit. So we had to kind of 360 it and say, what are we going to do? We were shocked just to see that more women, even just in our circle this year, more women couldn't wait to feel beautiful again. Couldn't wait to
Get out
do
of the sweatpants
something.
that
Get
they were
out of the
wearing all
sweatpants.
year.
Get out of being in front of the computer. They love their children. tired of homeschool. They want to feel gorgeous. And
Right.
we were shocked to see that, we grew 100% in 2021.
Wow.
Just with our numbers from this year. So what do I see for 2022? Well, I this week alone had 3 women reach out to me
So
and
wait,
say,
is this 2021? So whoever wins, is it from April to April 2022? Or is it-
correct. They will hold their title till 2022.
So Jacqueline Di Pasquale is still till the 10th. You're still, the
but
person.
she's not
She's
done yet.
still Miss
Oh.
New
You will
Jersey
see
until,
maybe
until the 10th.
until the 10.
Oh, there you
and
go.
then there
She'll
could be
al-
some other possibilities.
Okay.
She'll always be our Miss New Jersey.
She always will.
Right.
I always say once you have that crown, you always have that crown.
Got it.
She will always be Miss New Jersey.
And she will always be ours, and we always say they are truly the quarantine queens. And I know that you didn't really know us last year, but I know that a lot of our followers on Instagram followed our story. We had every intention of having a pageant, but when February started to hit, and all of a sudden this COVID thing is coming into the United States, Kim and I had to say, what are we going to do? We're already paying money out to hotel, and we've got a DJ. And
Right.
What are we going to do? We have to cut our losses now, and we have to keep these ladies safe.
So let's do a podcast.
We went into we went into virtual pageant, truly virtual pageant. Our judges got the same paperwork, platform sheets, headshots. They judged virtually, and on the day of our original pageant, we safely. And I will never forget, we still get emotional about this.
We were one of the few cars on the road.
We were in lockdown. We told the ladies, be dressed and ready. We are coming to your homes.
Wow.
We drove over 300 miles in separate cars that day with masks
Separate
in the
cars,
pouring
yeah.
rain.
Wow.
And we started in Point Pleasant, and the first home we went to was our new Miss New Jersey. And we called her and said, open your front door. And with her parents and her brother, she opened the door, and we had a table set with all her prizes, all her gifts,
Wow.
her crown.
Crown,
I got
sash.
hair standing up
I
right
know,
now.
right? Yeah.
And her mom and dad got to safely crown her. We probably only got to hug her for the first time. Maybe truly tonight was the best hug
Tonight was the
we've
first
had.
time.
Wow.
Yeah, so we drove and crowned all 4 of our beautiful queens, and all of not only New Jersey, but women from all over the country were watching us, because in our Instagram story, through the power of social
Right.
media, Kim and I stopped every 50 miles to post, but through Facebook and Instagram, America was watching what we did that day.
Oh, that's great.
And we set what we think was probably one of the best precedents, and that is truly the best story we could have ever had for our
It's
first
like a
year.
Thelma and Louise.
It really
episode,
is.
Yeah.
Right?
Who's Thelma though, and who's the queen?
That's true. I'll be the Brad Pitt. How about that?
Okay, twist my arm.
So, just curious, and because I know sax is very important to you and all that stuff. The one question I guess I would ask is if you could talk to your sister today, what would you say to her?
Oh gosh.
Because
If I could talk to her today, I would tell her Jordan is okay and he's going to be fine, and he's doing great, and that I love her, and I know she knows that, but
Yeah.
um,
I'm
Yeah.
such a believer in the universe, and when you put things out there, and there's a piece of me that probably says she's hearing everything you say. That's why I wanted
Yeah.
to be said out loud. That's
Thank
the
you.
only reason why.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And I usually end the podcast, and by the way, this has been the greatest 4 months.
This is the best podcast ever.
You didn't let me get to that part, but yes. But it's been a great 4-month run. I mean, I met beautiful people, and you guys, Mary, you and I, like every Thursday, and every text,
You're
and every
my
phone
date.
call,
You're
right?
my significant other.
Exactly right. I don't want it to end, so I'd love to keep doing this as long as we possibly can. But you've probably seen all the podcasts. You probably came well prepared about my question, and so
let's see if she did. I don't know.
We'll soon find out. So I always end the podcasts, and I end like this. So I'm a big Mustang guy. I grew up with Mustangs, and I had a '66 Mustang just redone for me, and it was like a rotisserie. It was a beautiful Mustang, and we just pulled the car in. In fact, I think your mom likes Mustangs too, right?
Yes,
And
we have a very old Mustang. I want to say it's 71 or something like that. I forget the year, but in our driveway.
Yeah.
Sky blue. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so I was pulling this into my garage, and the garage door was coming down, and my dad, I was like, Dad, I love this flipping car. It's a beautiful car. And he said, I was just in church the other day, and the priest said something really special to me. He said to the people in the pews, and he said something like, everything we own on this earth will one day be owned by somebody else, whether it's your car or your house or your wedding ring or your clothes. He said, what are you here for? What's your mark that you want to leave? Like your legacy. So my question to you is, what is your legacy? Is it going to be support Sax? Is it going to be, what you tell me what it's going to be.
My legacy, I hope, is that people, when they hear my name, they say, oh, she was wonderful. She did so much to support women in the community. That's the legacy I want to leave behind, is that I can make other women feel good about themselves and support them. That's one of the things I didn't get to do with my sister, because when you're in it, when you're really in it, you get so angry with them and so upset with them.
You're so right. I know.
And you just, I probably went a good year without even talking to her because I was so mad at her for using and not wanting to get clean. So I now, that's part of why I started Support Sax as well, is because I know when these women are going through their worst moments, their family probably doesn't talk to them anymore, so they kind of need someone
You're 100% right.
to know that that they're not angry and that they are there to support them. So I just want to be, the legacy I want to leave behind is that I want to be non-judgmental. You know, I'm working on that, and not being judgmental to women and with the problems they're going through.
Yeah.
And that hopefully someone says, hey, she was really supportive to women, and she really helped women when they were, you know, in their worst place to feel better. So
it's a great legacy to leave.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, first I want to honor you, and both of you ladies. And the reason why I feel so connected is because I know what you're going through. I really do. And it's the most difficult thing in the world. And I can tell you, it takes a really strong woman to go through all that stuff, you know? And let's honor Jordan. Let's give him those virtual music lessons if you'd like. I'd love to do that if I can.
That'd be awesome.
Even if he wants to just meet us online and bang a drum, or whatever it is he wants to do. It's the least I can do. But I'm really looking forward to this Saturday night. I think it's going to be a great time. And something tells me maybe I should get a hotel room because I might drink a little bit too much that night. Well, we'll have to see.
There will probably be some celebrating, some partying.
For sure.
We got to the hotel today. We checked in this morning and we looked at each other and we just said we made it.
Yeah.
We made it. We made it here for our ladies. We are going to do our best to keep everybody safe this weekend. We want our ladies to feel loved. We want them to have an amazing time, and we want their moments on stage to be some of the best moments of 2021.
That's
great.
great.
So we are going to try to sleep well tonight because the next 48 hours is probably going to be exhausting. But we're ready for it, and we're ready to welcome 4 new beautiful ladies into our sisterhood, but we've got contestants that are just excited to be coming.
That is awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Mary, and of course, Bosley, I was going to call you. Miss Bosley, Miss Kim Bosley
Meehan, like me and you.
Kim Bosley Meehan.
Why does she keep bringing this me and you thing up?
You know what? This whole
Jimmy,
Cinco de
I'm
Mayo
sorry,
thing,
Jimmy.
Jim's away doing boot
Jimmy's
camp.
away for 4 days.
He's doing some boot camp and push-ups or something.
But it's me and you.
But he could probably beat the hell out of me, but you know what?
That's where my Instagram name comes from. It's Kim, me, and you.
Oh, I thought that was
Kim, me,
now I get it.
That's how you pronounce my last name, me and you.
Right, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful women of Miss New Jersey.
New York, New Jersey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes.